Number 6, this is a team that I really like. Washington. Washington is sneaky good. I think Washington could win the Pac-12. I think that Michael Penix, their quarterback, could win the Heisman. That's my dark horse right there. If I'm talking about Heismans, that's where I would start. Anybody not named Caleb Williams, it would be Michael Penix. Now, he's got to stay healthy. He's had injury problems in the past, but their wide receiver core is second in the country to Ohio State. Odunze is fantastic. They've got a head coach in Kalen DeBoer that knows how to throw the ball. They led the country in passing a year ago. Their defense is pretty darn good. This was a team that was a breath away from being in the Pac-12 title game. In fact, I believe they lost out on the tiebreak to Utah. Remember, they lost a close game late in November that also would have put them in that Pac-12 title game. I really like Washington. I think Washington is going to – I don't know if they're going to surprise people with what they did a year ago, but I'm a big fan of what Kalen DeBoer is doing and Michael Penix and that passing game, so they're going to be at number 6. Penix, like I said, dark horse for the Heisman. Number 7, this is also another one of those teams like I'm really high on. And it's just hard for me to get them inside the top 5, although I wanted to. By the way, I debated both Washington and my 7th team, which is LSU, at number 5. That was, for me, kind of a 3-horse conversation right there for number 5. And then I had 8, 9, and 10, kind of a debate between those 3, and I'll get to those in a moment. I really like LSU. They had the number 2 transfer class in the country, primarily on the defensive side, which is where they needed help. They get their quarterback back. It's Brian Kelly's 2nd year. They're good on the offensive line. I think they have 4 of their starting 5 back on the offensive line. And it's a team that I think should take kind of that next step. They won the West, played for the SEC championship game, and their bright side and upside is all in front of them. So count me a believer in LSU, and I think that's going to be a great battle between them and Alabama for who represents the West in the SEC championship game against Georgia. Again, Daniels, he's highly experienced at quarterback. He's athletic. He did a great job running the football. That's going to be a really good team. I think they beat Florida State in week 1. At number 8, I've got USC. So I told you I had kind of a debate in my mind between 8, 9, and 10. Why did USC win out at number 8? 2 words, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I think, is the best quarterback in the country. He's my favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. If he doesn't, I think it might be Penix. But Williams should win the Heisman Trophy. And I'm going to start the push right here. So this is preseason content, and I'm just going to start talking to Heisman voters right now. Do not try to find reasons to not vote for Caleb Williams. Just appreciate the reasons to vote for Caleb Williams. This guy is a generational talent. I believe he's one of the best college quarterbacks we've seen ever. I can't wait to watch him play. I'm a little bit interested to see how USC navigates offensively without Travis Dye. Now, I know they brought in transfers and everything, but Dye was pretty important to them. He's got to stay healthy. That's certainly what kind of took them out. They were rolling against Utah in that Pac-12 title game, and then he started coming up lame, kind of the same thing against Utah in the regular season. But Williams is the real deal, everybody, and I like what USC has. They're still going to be good on offense. You know that with Lincoln Riley. The question's always on the defensive side. They were pitiful defensively. They couldn't tackle anybody. They couldn't tackle a high school team late in the season. They should be better on defense. The transfers that they got, the recruits that they got, they should be is the big question. But they still get the benefit of the doubt at number 8 for me. At number 9 is Clemson. It's another team, sneaky. It's so funny. I really like 1 through 5. It's easy to put those teams there. I really like 6 through 9. This is, by the way, can we get the 12-team playoff this year? Like this, if we need a year for 12, this is it, because we've got, I think, of the last few years, this is the year where I'm thinking to myself, boy, we've got some depth in college football at the top, In previous years, you'd be like, oh, well, these two teams are clearly the best. After Georgia, you go 10 through 9, every one of those teams could win on any given Saturday. And I'm for it. I'm excited about it. Clemson is in at number 9. Here's the reasons why I love Clemson. Clemson has a quarterback that I believed in a year ago and probably should have started more games. Let's face it. DJ Uiagalelei was struggling, and it should have been Cade Klubnik that came in. And I understand that he struggled in that bowl game against Tennessee, but let's be honest, bowl games that aren't in the CFP, there's not a lot of credence to me in those games. They're so far removed from what bowl games used to be. It's hard for me to evaluate what went on in the Orange Bowl. Having said that, you get Klubnik. He's got his best offensive player in Shipley back. They should be pretty good on the offensive line. And then the most important piece, and this is the one that I think has flown under the radar, Garrett Riley is their new offensive coordinator. We know what Garrett Riley just did at TCU with Max Duggan and Kendry Miller and Quentin Johnston. They are going to be better on offense, and this is what they have desperately needed over the course of the last few seasons. So here Garrett Riley comes in, and the next time a Riley-coached offense has a bad year at quarterback, please let me know, because I've never seen it. I've never seen it. It didn't matter if it was Max Duggan or Caleb Williams as a true freshman or anything. Like Garrett Riley and Lincoln Riley, they understand how to move the ball down the field. I'm in on Clemson. They should be better on defense. They won the ACC a year ago. They've got their best games or toughest games at home, a place that they rarely, if ever, lose over the course of the last 5 and 6 years. I'm in. I'm in on Clemson, and they're number 9. And why are they number 9? Because I've got to put them ahead of my number 10 team, which is Florida State. Now, for me, Florida State, I understand the hype, okay? They had a 6-game win streak to end the season. And you know what? More power to them. I like their returning quarterback a lot. They have built over the course of the last 3 years under Mike Norvell. And last year seemed like a breakthrough. So I'm in on Florida State. They're in the top 10. So all of you that are going to come at me and be like, you're a Florida State hater. Nope. But I'm just going to tell you why they're number 10 and not higher, because I see them higher a lot. They're number 10 because they play Clemson at Clemson. They haven't beat Clemson. God, I mean, it's been a long time. While they bring back their quarterback, and while they won 6 in a row to finish the year a year ago, that win streak was against some terrible teams. And when you look at what they did when the season was still in the balance, I do remember a bit of a losing streak in the middle of the year. I remember being incredibly fortunate against LSU in week 1 in Brian Kelly's first game at LSU. They don't get the benefit of that doubt. LSU's going to beat them. Clemson's going to beat them. And they're going to be 2-2 to start the year. So that's why they're number 10. They may win 10 games. They may go on to have a solid year. I just don't see them winning the ACC, and I don't see them beating those two teams. By the way, they're likely going to have to face Clemson again because, if I'm not mistaken, the ACC is doing away with their divisions, and the top 2 teams are going to play in the conference championship game. So, that's where I'm at with FSU. I think that the schedule is really tough. I thought that win streak was a bit of fool's gold. Do I like them? Yes. Could they end 10-2 and then 10-3 and lose the ACC championship game? Yeah, absolutely. Does that mean they're a really good team and likely a top 10 team? Yes. All of that is true, while at the same time seeing LSU ahead of them, Clemson ahead of them, both on the schedule in September, and realizing that they probably start 2-2.